Okay, we're going to be starting our meeting. How's that? Can anybody hear me in the back? And please silence your cell phones so we don't get any interruptions. And we've got an interesting and exciting presentation coming up today, and hopefully you're not here because you've been scammed, but we have someone from the FNBO Bank who's going to be talking about how not to get scammed. Okay, my name is Shelley Goldberg, and I'm the current president of the Computer Club. And as usual, we'll be going over a few of the Computer Club matters before we begin our presentation. So the agenda for today is reviewing our financial report, talking about membership, talking about the Computer Club itself. We'll talk about the classes that we offer in the Computer Lab, community matters here at Sun City, and then we'll get on to our feature presentation. And the lab will be closed this morning, so, but you are all welcome. We're here till 12 noon. So if you do have questions, we will have people here available to help answer any questions you might have. We can do that right here in the lab. And in addition to that, if you just want to have additional cup of coffee or enjoy talking amongst yourselves, you're welcome to stay here till 12 as well. Okay, this is our treasurer's report for September, and it doesn't vary too much. We did add a month or two ago an additional CD account, so we now have some additional funds in the CD. We do have a large reserve fund, and that reserve fund is going to be used in the next 12 months for replacing many of our computers. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but last month we did present our budget, and we didn't have a slide, unfortunately, for the budget, so we're doing the budget slide right now. We did approve the budget in our meeting last month, and I want to thank our treasurer, Doug Nagel, for doing all of this. And if you want a copy of the budget, if you can't read that on the screen, and for all of you accounting nerds out there, he's got copies in the back that he can give you all a copy if you need one. And our membership is at 1238, and the membership grows throughout the year since we're on a fiscal year, and we're now on 3-year memberships. So we're saving you some money too. You don't have to renew as often as you did before. The renewals are now only $15 for 3 years. And if you're not a member, you can join for $25 for 3 years. So that comes out to just a little over $8 a year. And that includes both you and your spouse. Now we want to thank all of the volunteers that help the Computer Club do what it has been doing. And we have our lab techs and board members. We have instructors for the classes. And last but not least, we have the coffee crew in the back that prepares the donuts and the coffee that you're enjoying this morning. So, yeah, shout out to all of them. And if any of you are volunteer-minded, we always are in need of additional people, new people to help do all of these different functions. So feel free to either talk to any of us here or come into the lab when we're open on Mondays and Thursdays in the mornings, and we can talk to you then. We have two subgroups currently in the computer club. The first one is the Apple users group. So if you're into iPhones or Macs or iPads, we meet on the first Tuesday of each month at 9 o'clock in the lab. And the second group is the Sun City Photography group. And we meet on the first Wednesday of each month, and that's at 7 o'clock in the evening, and that's also in the lab. And yeah, and this is our lab. It's open on Mondays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The lab is located in Meadowview Lodge. It's on the left-hand side as you go into the building. And some of you may or may not know it, but we do have a lockbox just to the left of the door there. So if you're looking to just submit a membership form or a renewal form, you can just put it into an envelope and deposit it in that lockbox even when we're not open. All of our classes that we offer in the lab are free for members, and you don't have to do any advanced registration. You can just show up for the class. We do have a class actually this afternoon, and this is an interesting one. Jeff Stipes, who's the leader emeritus of our photography group, he's coming back to do a class on getting started with photo editing. So if, and this is aimed not just at seasoned photographers, this is anybody who's taking pictures, whether it's be with a smartphone or with a camera. You can come, he's gonna have a lot of good tips on how to improve some of those photos with the software that you might already have in your phone or in your camera. Or on your PC or Mac. So, so come this afternoon and you'll get some good tips. Yes, question in the back?
I can't make that. Will that be recorded and available for later?
No, this class will not be. Yeah, some of the classes we do have been recorded on over Zoom, but this is not. And okay, then following that, we have a number of Android phone classes. As well as iPhone classes, and the schedule for that is on there. And they have additional classes that will be added. So just look for the mailings that come to you in your email that will list all the classes for the week. Okay, Frank Geister wants to make a brief announcement regarding streaming.
Okay. How many of us, our group out here today, have cut the cord and are streaming on TV now? Raise your hand. How many have bought the new, let's see, get the next slide, have bought this device? Anybody? Okay, now we're going to talk about streaming a little bit, And why this device at $19 is the best device for you. It's not my opinion, it's a lot of people's opinion. If you look on the internet, you'll see thousands of pages of stuff written about them. Walmart has come out with a new model for $50, which I don't really recommend to the average user yet. You have to start out with the $19 one, it's a lot easier. It is better than almost Roku. You can get Roku on here, the free programs that Roku offers, and you can get thousands of pictures, way more than you ever could watch. So it's a very good interface, and the interface can be adjusted to your liking. So we'll have a meeting the end of the month. It'll be called
Streaming.
what's the name we decided on?
Streaming.
Yeah,
Streaming with Frank?
yeah, streaming. It'll be streaming with a 4K Walmart device. And this is a device you only can buy through Walmart. So, you know, we don't normally advertise or talk about products, but this one is unique. You buy it at Walmart somewhere at that price, $19.88. And it is the best. You get that remote, you get the box, you get a cord, you get a plug-in, so you're all set. It makes it very simple to stream. It's actually better than Roku because Roku doesn't allow you to get programs that aren't on the system. This one you can get with very mild adjustments. You can get any program. The only trouble you have with programs, you gotta get some program that it'll work with the remote. If you want to, you could get your wireless mouse on a regular trackball or any of that stuff to work with it too. So watch the internet on we're going to have it near the end of the month. It'll be on a Monday or Tuesday, most likely. So you can come to that, and that's about all I have to say. Yeah.
Is it carry Jeopardy? Because right now AT&T.
Wait a second, I'm going to come over here.
Does it carry the Jeopardy program? Because right now AT&T is blocked.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Did you repeat it?
You can't get it. You gotta use an antenna. That's the best way of getting it.
People
Or-
couldn't hear us repeat the question.
Yeah, the question was with the satellite provider, not Dish, DirecTV is blocked Disney's, all their programs are off the system right at the moment. So you don't get Channel 7, you don't get any of the sports channels. Anything that Disney had, you won't get on your TV for, I think, quite a while, because they're going to drag this on. They have a deal where you can get one of the cable paid channels. You can get a deal on that. Yeah, that's about all I can tell you. I don't have that, so I don't really get too involved in it.
You can get live TV, various live TV streaming apps that'll give you older game shows and all kinds of different stuff out there. So even if you
You wanna see the new stuff, you're out of luck, unless you get a antenna. So that's it.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Yeah, there's a lot of different devices out there for streaming, so you've got a choice between the Rokus and the Google Chromecast and Amazon Fire Sticks and the Apple devices. And the one that Frank was just talking about is from Walmart. It's a clone basically of the Google Chromecast, so it's at a much lower price. And then they have the new one that's a $50 device. But Google just came out with a really super device, much more advanced device that they're selling for $100 at this at the outset.
Hey, Shelley, quick question.
Yeah.
So, you just mentioned, the Chrome, it works better than Chromecast. One of the features with Chromecast is that you can cast your, phone to the TV through the, Chromecast. Could you, cast your phone display
Yes.
into?
Yes, you
Wow,
can cast to this as
That's
well.
cool.
Yeah, you can cast to any either Android TV or Google TV. Yeah.
Come out to the meeting and find out what you have to do to get it, you know.
Okay, and since this meeting is open to everyone in the community, even if you're not yet a member of the Computer Club, although we do hope that you'll join. So we do talk about some of the things going on in Sun City. Frank played a couple of Beach Boy tunes. There is a Beach Boy concert this evening at 7 o'clock. I believe they're sold out, but there may be tickets available that people can't make it and are trying to get rid of their tickets. September 26th, there's an Elton John, Billy Joel tribute concert. And then, of course, on October the 10th is the 25th anniversary celebration. And that's going to be right here in Drendel. And for those of you who are astute, you might notice that that's the second Thursday of the month, which is when we normally meet here. So obviously we will not be meeting here on the second Thursday of the month of October. So we do have a one-time change only for the month of October. Next month we'll be meeting on the first Thursday of the month. And we'll send out notices about that. October 17th, there's a tribute band that'll be doing Boston and Styx. And then Sun City board meeting is on the 25th at 9 a.m. and that's in Berkshire. Okay, and since our lab is going to be closed this morning, we will be open here until 12 noon. So if you have additional questions or you'd like to get answered, quick questions of sort, you're welcome to stay and we can discuss those. Okay, with that, I'd like to introduce our presenter for today. It's Janet Sisson, the branch manager of FNBO Bank here in Huntley, and she will be talking about scams and fraud.
Among other things.
Okay. Well, I have to say you guys are a lot smarter than I am with all that going on. So I am just wanting to talk about scams and fraud that we here in Huntley are seeing and other places are seeing as well. I think it's a great opportunity or great timing because right now we are seeing such a huge increase in scams and fraud going on here in Huntley. I think hopefully a lot of you saw the Huntley Police Department putting an ad in the paper last week, warning of some of those scams that are happening here. And that's just with the close communication that the banks and the police department have with each other. One of the things that when people come in and tell us that they think they've been scammed or fraud, one of the first things we tell them is to go and do a police report. One of the important parts of that is that it tells the police this is happening in our community. It will tell them how many people are are seeing this, and it'll alert the community as well. So let me just tell you a couple of guidelines that we at the bank kind of tell our customers. Your bank will never ask you to share your passwords or your PIN numbers. A lot of people give that information out so freely. You know, they come in and they ask for help with their online banking, and they're like, my user ID is and my password is, and we will put up a hand and say, stop. We don't want to know your password. We don't know your password. We don't know your PIN numbers. Please keep that information safe. Nobody else should know that information either. If the person you're talking to tells you to tell the bank a story, I can't tell you how many times people come in and we all laugh. If you come in and you ask for a large amount of money and you tell us you're doing home improvements, we're probably like, okay, really, you're gonna do home improvements? Because that's the #1 thing scammers tell you. They say, go to your bank, withdraw $10,000 and tell them you're doing home improvements. Tell them you're giving the money to your grandkids. Tell them this, tell them that. And we will question you. I've had a lot of customers get mad at me as the manager because my bankers will come up to me and say, hey, this person's asking for $30,000 in cash. If you come into FNBO and you ask for $30,000 in cash, you're talking to me. Because most likely, if you don't have a better story than home improvements, you're not getting $30,000 in cash because it's just not safe. So we get a lot of people that get mad at us for asking very pertinent questions. But if somebody's telling you what to tell your banker and it's not the truth, it's fraud. Don't use your debit cards online, use credit cards. Why we say that is if you use a debit card online, we have to give that money away. We have to give them that money. A regulation says if you've given your debit card number away, we have to give those people that money, and then we can dispute it and ask for it back. That's probably, probably a 10-day 10 business days process to even begin that investigation with as much fraud as we're seeing these days. If you use your credit card, you just don't pay that amount. Debit cards, you're out that money for a couple of days, and then you'll get it back after the dispute, after the investigation. But the credit card, they'll just put that money kind of aside and say, okay, don't pay that, let's investigate it and go from there. Peer-to-peer payments are becoming really, really big. Zelle, Venmo, Cash App. Just be really sure who you're sending that money to. Great opportunity to send it to your grandkids for birthdays or holidays or something, because how many of you give your grandkids a check and they lose it, they don't cash it, they don't even know what to do with it. If you sell them money, it goes into their account immediately. Happy birthday, go spend my money. But once those Zelle and Venmo payments are sent, they're gone. So we put up a lot, I get people that complain, there's so many screens to send a Zelle payment, but we put up so many, are you sure? Is this who you really want to send this to? Do you know this person? So those are some of the warning signs that we will put up on those. It's a great, Zelle and Venmo are amazing. We've asked for it, quick transfers, quick sends for money. Just be careful. Know who you're sending it to. If somebody says, hey, send me $10,000 to do your roof, I would kind of think about it. Your best lines of defense. I always say this in every presentation I do. If you don't know your banker doesn't know you. Why is this important? We've had many people, a lot of my bankers have been around with us for 15+ years. So we know our customers. With AI in this world, that's our best defense in a bank, is to know our customers. We've had people walk in the door that are usually bubbly and cheery and, you know, just happy-go-lucky. And one day they come in, they go to the check register stand, write their check, they go get their money, and out the door they go. That's a sign to us. We know that customer. We know that that customer is normally bubbly and joyful. Do they have something else on their mind? That's a lot of times where we'll just go and check in with them and say, hey, how are you doing today? What's going on? We also communicate back and forth between us saying, hey, this person is taking everything but $100 out of their account. Again, you'll get to talk to me, just because that's not normal. You know, if you're taking $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 out of your account and just leaving bare minimum, usually there's something going on, and we just want to talk to you about it. And then two, if you know your banker, you're going to come talk to us a little bit better and tell us these things, hopefully, that might be going on, that you're feeling threatened, or, you know, a lot of people bring in those home warranty letters. You know, they go to the county and they find that you have a mortgage or a home equity, and they get the bank's name, and they have the intelligence to know that you've had a mortgage. It's public knowledge, they can do it. But once they put, you know, FMBO on that letter, First National Bank, hey, your home warranty is expired. Those are not legitimate either when you never had a home warranty. So, so know your banker. Your defense is your online banking. Look at your online banking on a daily basis. A lot of people say, nope, I can get scammed on, I don't want to put my banking online. Your best defense. I tell everybody, look at your online banking on a daily basis. Make it a habit. Every morning you wake up, click on your phone or on your app. Anything that has come into the bank yesterday gets decisioned today. So if you look at your banking this morning and you say, hey, I don't know what that transaction is, call your bank, let them know. Other than debit cards, most of the time that can be returned. So if you wait for your statement, you're going to wait 30 days to get that information. And if they get one transaction, they're going to try for two, and they're going to try for three. So best defense, online banking. Like I said before, listen to your banker when they ask questions about large withdrawals. We are going to ask you questions because we just see so much fraud and so much scam, and we're going to try and prevent it. Just like if you go to Walmart or Walgreens and you buy a lot of debit cards, they are now trained as well to ask you a lot of questions. So because a lot of fraudsters are asking you to go out and buy those debit cards and give them the number on the back. And as soon as you give them that number, they have devices to just take that money right off of those cards. Don't answer the phone if you don't know the number. How many of us are so curious of who is that that's calling me? If they really, really, really want to talk to you, they'll leave you a message. But really, I think that's a really important one as well. Use strong passwords. How many of us, you know, use our dog's name or our address or street name or something like that? And don't use the same, you know, like if you're doing a password for something fun online, don't use that same password for your banking information or your investment information. If somebody gets that password, they're going to just go through the line and try and get as many, you know, use it on absolutely anything that they can. But if you're using a different password on your important information, the chances of them getting through that are a lot less. So this is another important one. Check out your ATM and your credit card readers at your gas stations, your grocery stores, your banks. Every morning, it's our morning opening routine is we go out to our ATM and we just touch it. We touch everything about it. Where you put your card in, we shake that a little bit, see that if anything comes off of that. So numerous times through the day, our ATM is checked just to see if any scammers are putting any readers on there, cameras on there, that they can read your card activity. So I encourage you to do the same for your gas stations. Even at Walmart, somebody said Jewel was here last month and told you about their readers and stuff. Even at Jewel, just kind of play with them and make sure that, yes.
How often do you find something on the readers?
Here in Huntley, we have not. Some of our other locations, you know, once a year or something, there's usually a ring, you know, like they go and they put them on, I think maybe like, we go down to the south of Illinois and some of those branches down there have seen some, but not very often when you check them every day. And then because a lot of them watch, you know, they watch what you do during the day. And if they see us when we come in the morning, that's what we do. When we leave at night, that's what we do, is we go out there and check them. Yes?
Is the check done better than scanning it or putting your card in?
It is.
Repeat the question.
Is the tap better than inserting your card? It is. You're not doing, you know, PIN numbers or anything like that on there. You know, they're just getting so good. I would say today it's safer. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. That's why we say a lot of times the credit card is the best thing to do too, just to keep it a little bit safer. Yes.
Would the bank cover a debit card loss? Somehow your debit card got out there and they spent $100,000 on items.
So he's asking if bank will cover debit card items. I really, 99% of the time say yes. I hate saying that in a crowd like this because it's going to be the one time, you know, like I always say, there's a difference between a scam and a fraud. You know, did you give that money away willingly? We've had somebody come into the bank and say, hey, I want $7,000. We asked them all the questions we thought we needed to ask. They still wanted to take that $7,000. We handed it to them. They gave it away. The bank doesn't cover that. If it's a credit card or a debit card purchase and you truly have been scammed, yes, the bank will cover it. If you gave that information away, you know, but yeah, 99.9% of the time you get covered, but I just hesitate to say that to people. Let me see what else. So let's talk about how your bank is keeping you secure. Two-step authentication. So many onlines are doing this now, which is awesome. A lot of people come in and say, hey, you shut that code off. I don't want to do that anymore. And I love those conversations too, because that's what's keeping you safe. That's what's keeping the site secure. My only thing to that is also do not ever give that code away. So a lot of times the code is there for a reason. People will will give access. They'll give that user ID. They'll give that password away. And then, oops, the fraudsters put it in their computer and the two-step authentication will come up and they're like, okay, we're going to send you a code. Read us that code. And so many people do. They read them that code and they have instant access to everything about your banking. So it's there for a reason. It's put in place for security. Just don't give that code away. And the code is only good usually for like a minute. And then it goes bad. So don't keep that code because it's not going to do any good for you after. But a great security for online banking on your mobile app. Great. So AI, I know you guys talk a lot about AI. I'm not an AI expert, but banking is really utilizing AI a lot. I did look up a couple of statistics showing that the history of banking, and I was surprised that ATMs came into existence in 1960s. I never knew that they were around that long. And that was followed by credit cards in the 70s. So we haven't had credit cards all that long. 2000 brought on online banking. So in the turn of the century, we got that online banking, followed by mobile banking in the 2010s, and then came COVID. In 2020s, the banks taught people how not to come into a bank anymore. So we kind of closed down our branches or took appointments, and so if you think back to that, that's when electronics, you can take a picture of your check and deposit it. So we taught a lot of people how to do mobile banking, how to do online banking. We added services to those, to that technology. With that, what do you think comes is our risk goes just a little bit higher. So, so with higher risk comes higher fraud. So AI has helped a lot so that we can learn our customers' behaviors. I think that's one of the biggest parts that AI has brought to us, is that we can learn how our customers do business. In the past, we have asked customers, if you're going out of the state, let us know. If you're going to use your credit card out of the state, let us know so we don't turn that credit card off on you. We don't turn that debit card off on you. We don't ask any of that information anymore because it's just gotten so good that, you're going to get a call, you're going to get a text when we see a transaction that doesn't look right, that doesn't look like it's what you normally have done in the past. So my suggestion with that is keep your information with your bank up to date. A lot of people have gotten rid of landlines and went to cell phones. Make sure your bank, your credit card, your investments all have that updated information. A lot of times when we get people at our desk, we'll just say, hey, give me your driver's license, let me update this. This is what we have for your phone numbers. This is what we have for your email address. Is all of that accurate so that when we do need to reach you, we can? A lot of times, some of that information isn't up to date if you've banked with the same bank for so long or with the same investment. So just keep that information up with them. Other ways that we're utilizing AI is in the background. Just making sure that our signature cards are correct. They're going to stand up in a court of law if we need them to, if the beneficiaries are correct on there. A lot of times we're using it for lending as well, and just seeing, behaviors and what other banks are doing with lending. So it keeps us in touch with a lot of the banks talk to each other. So more to come with AI. A lot of banks have gone to computers versus bankers. FNBO doesn't look to do that anytime soon, being the community bank that we are. But my husband and I had traveled this summer, and we saw a bank, and the doors were locked, and it was like noon, and I'm like, what is that all about? So of course, me and my husband are both bankers. We had to go investigate. But you have to flash your debit card at the door, and then the door opens, and you go in, and it's just a bunch of computers. There's no people in there. Look like they have really good coffee, but you just do everything in there with a computer. So that's the way a lot of the some banks are going that route. But so I think there's a lot to come with that. I think the banks are really looking into it, really keeping up with fraud through AI as well. Use your computer club to clean your computer. That is huge. If you are scammed or have fraud, let somebody into your computer. we will tell you to go get your computer cleaned, go get your computer looked at, because more than not, they have put something on your computer to read everything that you do, to take everything off of that computer. And unless you get somebody with knowledge to look at that computer, everything you do on there is gonna, I mean, we can change your password and we can change everything about your online banking, but as soon as you turn that computer back on, they're gonna have all that new information all over again. So use the computer club. Willingly give your ID when withdrawing money from account. I tell my bankers I'll take this complaint every day, all day. For people that come in and say, your banker asked me for my ID. And like, why would you be here complaining about that? If my banker doesn't know you, they should ask you for your ID. You don't want us to give out that information to anyone if we don't know you. You don't want us to give out your money to anybody either. But that goes back to if you know your banker knows you and they won't ask you for an ID. One of the big things about security that your bank does is alerts. Every bank offers alerts on their online banking. So I have on mine where every time I use my debit card, every time I use my credit card, it sends me a text. To some people that might sound over the top, but if I get a text and I didn't use my debit card, I know that somebody's got my card. One of the other great things about online banking is you can go on there and you can lock your card. So if you lost your card, so many people come and say, I can't find my card, I have no idea where it is. You can go onto your online banking and you can lock it. You can't use it and nobody else can either. Other nice thing is when you do find that card, wherever it was, you can unlock it and go about using your card. So self-sufficient, again, why online banking is amazing. A lot of times the alerts can be sent. I mean, you can. Hello? Hello?
Let's exchange.
Time is up.
All right, I talked too long. Alerts, you can set alerts. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You can set alerts for almost anything. If you're looking for a check number, you can set an alert, hey, send me a text or an email when that check comes through. If you get to a certain level and you think you're going to get overdrawn, you can say, hey, if my account gets under $1,000, send me a text and let me know that. There's a million alerts you can set out there. Again, just your bank trying to keep you secure and safe. So here's one that everybody loves to hear is what are the current scams that we're seeing here now? Microsoft, we haven't heard this one in a couple of months, but people are coming in saying, you know, it's big flashing lights saying, call Microsoft now, here's the number, your computer's gonna blow up if you don't do this. Don't call the number that's on the screen. That is not Microsoft's phone number most of the time. Go to the computer club, let them look at it. Let them tell you if you have an issue or not. Or look on your phone or something for a legitimate Microsoft phone number and give them a call and see if it's truly, if you truly have an issue. But this one is really big because they they ask for access onto your computer and people are just like, hey, I've got pictures on that computer. I've got everything in my life on this computer. I don't want to lose it all. Yep, here's access to my computer. Well, now you're into another big, now they got access to your computer. They're taking pictures of everything on your computer and they're putting more and more viruses on that computer. Publishers Clearinghouse was another big one a couple months ago. The first question we've asked people was, did you play? And they would say no. And like, you can't win if you didn't play. So then it kind of clicks in of, you know, but they tell you that they're coming out, they're gonna give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some smart customers have asked them to meet them at the bank. And so they sit there for quite a while waiting for the balloons and everything to come, and they just never do. So if you did play, you're not gonna win that one. This next one is the one that the Huntley Police just put a notice out about. Again, we send our customers to the police department to do a police report so that they can keep track of them. But they start the conversation off saying that they're from Amazon or they're from PayPal. They try and talk you into giving them where you bank. So and I've asked people, I said, did you tell them where you bank? And they're like, no. And then as we keep talking and I keep asking them questions, you're like, oh, I did tell them where I banked. So they'll tell you that it's an inside job at the bank. Somebody at the bank is going to take your money from you. So you need to get your money secure. So they then again tell you to go to the bank, take all your money out of the account, and then go to use a Bitcoin machine ATM and put all your money into that. So the one lady that I had, she said to me, she says, I got it, I understood that the bank, somebody at the bank was going to take my money, which, okay. But she said, I had the money in my hand, so it was secure. She goes, what made me go and put that money into a Bitcoin ATM? And I'm like, I don't know. So she had the gut reaction that we always tell people to go with. She traveled to Elgin and she put her $8,000 into this machine, never to be seen again. That is where the bank doesn't cover you because there again, when she came in, my bankers asked her every question that they could possibly think of. And we've had numerous of these. So again, if they're telling you that the bank is an inside job, come see me, go see the manager of the bank you bank with, go to the police, tell them, hey, somebody told me my bank is gonna scam me. The Huntley police are amazing. We work very closely with them, sadly on a weekly, daily basis, that they will tell you what the current scams are and how many people they've had come through there. But this one is really big. I can't stress this one enough because a couple of them that I've talked to said all along, man, I just knew something was wrong. And the other part of it was the lady who went to Elgin, the guy who sat at the gas station said, don't put your money in that machine. Everybody comes back and tells us it's a scam and they never get their money back. And she still put her money into the machine. So, so go with your gut. But that is a huge one. That one is still going on. We're seeing that one still today here in Huntley. Mail fraud, again, a good reason to do online banking is to do e-statements, bill pay. We've had quite a few people who have said they put mail in their mailbox, they put the flag up, and then we have gotten those checks back and they've been washed with a different name on them or a different amount on them as well. So they're being stolen out of your mailbox. We've also even heard, you know, like the big blue boxes. So if you're gonna mail checks or anything, I would say go right to the post office, go inside and put it in that way. E-statements are really important, are good because we're gonna email you your statement. Bill pay is good because we will do your checks electronically. If we do have to mail a check, it's with our account number, so they can't get any more money than what that check was for. Yes.
Yeah, just for everybody's information, you can go to Walmart and they have pens that can't be washed. And I would suggest you use those for any checks you send out. That way you are safer than if you don't.
Good advice. Grandparent scam, this one comes and goes, and you know, if they have your child has been in an accident, they've been arrested, your grandkids are somewhere. With AI, they really can do the voice, and you're just so panic-stricken at that point that you go along with what they say. Easiest thing is call your kids, call your grandkids. If they really have your kid or your grandkid, they're gonna call you back. Or even if you keep them on the phone, text one of your grandkids or your kids. The thing they're gonna tell you is don't tell anybody. If you tell them, or you know, something bad is gonna happen. If somebody's threatening you like that, really a law enforcement's not gonna threaten you. So that is one that comes and goes a lot. These are just what we've seen in the last couple months, but there are so many. It's just amazing to us when we get a new one and we have to learn about it. You know, the Bitcoin one was new to us. I didn't know there was Bitcoin machines around that you can deposit money into, your account, and then whoever's frauding you gets, it goes into their account. So. And if they say the bank is scamming you, please go to the bank and see and talk to them. Benefits of online banking, I think we talked about a lot of these, ability to lock and unlock your debit card if it's lost, or see just uncertain activities on your online banking. Setting alerts, again, we talked about that for your account to notify you by text or email. E-statements, you're not getting paper statements in the mail, they're being emailed to you, so that's prohibits a lot of the mail stuff. Bill pay, auto pay, not mailing checks. You know, a lot of people are still check writers, which is okay, but just keep them secure. Your online banking as well will tell you your credit score. Keep track of it if it goes up or down a lot. That's when you should go in and look at, you know, pull your credit report and see why it's doing that. Why did it go really high? Did somebody open a credit card under your social security number? Did somebody not pay the credit card they opened under your social security number and your credit score went down? So there's a lot of benefits to online banking that really outweigh the bad. Things to look for: grammar, misspelling in emails or texts. Those fraudsters are really smart getting your money, but they're not the best spellers in the world. They use a lot of different fonts, a lot of uppercase, lowercase. Their punctuality is not always the best. So that's a telltale sign. If they're asking you to, you've got to do it immediately. You've got to do whatever they want. I think maybe farther on, a lot of them, especially like that Bitcoin one, they stay on the phone with you. So a lot of them, from what we hear, is they talk to these people for hours before they come to the bank. So their tactic is they wear you down. Like you are just, they ask you to do a lot of things and they just wear you down. And now they're asking you to go to the bank. A lot of times if you walk into the bank and you're on the phone, sometimes I've asked people, who are you talking to on the phone? Just because they're on the phone and they're listening to the conversation so that they can tell you what to tell me. A lot of people have their phone in the back pocket. So if they're a little jittery or something like that, again, we'll ask, is somebody on the phone with you? We've even had customers pass us notes which scares us to death when he passes a note. But just to say, there's somebody on the phone with me. And there's many conversations I've had with people just passing notes back and forth because somebody's on the phone listening to everything that we're saying. So you're not helping us out anymore by doing that because you're giving the fraudsters all our secrets by what we're going to ask you so that they can tell you questions to come back and answer us with. So yeah, being asked to keep them on the phone, sure, telltale sign, that's not a good thing. Nobody legit is going to ask you to go to the bank and keep them on the phone. Request for login credentials and sensitive information. Again, banks won't ask you for that. If anybody is asking you for your login information, please, please, please don't give it to them because then they are in your online banking. Some of the things that they do too, we've noticed, is if you have a checking and a savings account, they'll tell you, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000. Well, most of the time they're taking it out of your savings account, they're putting it into your checking account. You don't know that that's been transferred. It'll say transfer on there, and they'll say, okay, I just transferred you $10,000. Now go to the bank immediately and get that money out and send it back to me. They're going to keep you away from your savings account. They're not going to let you go in there because they don't want you to see that debit in there. And then you're going to go get the $10,000, send it to them. We've even had people, and it still surprises me, here in Huntley, that they've told them to go sit on your front porch, put $10,000 in cash. Somebody will come by, take that $10,000 from you. Don't talk to them, don't ask them any questions, and then go back in the house and call them back. Well, your money's gone. So it's surprising how much they beat you down and how much they just get you bewildered. Never call the number you are giving, look it up, or call a number you know, no matter what that is. My own husband almost got taken by a cable company that wanted to offer him a discount. And man, if he could get $20 off his cable, he'll go for it. But they gave him another number to call, but as soon as they asked him to send it through gift cards, he's heard enough of my stories that he knew he was in trouble. And he shouldn't be doing that. His wife will really get mad at him when he gets home. So never call the number that they give you. Always check it out. Again, the people that their bank was scamming them, they thought they were talking to the back office of our bank and had a number that they called. I'm like, did you ever think of calling us? And just, no, because you guys might be the ones scamming me. If you think you're scammed, this is huge. File a police report. We work closely with the Huntley Police Department. They are amazing. They will take your report. They'll give you tips as well. There's a lot of times that I will call the Huntley Police Department to come to the branch when I'm not persuasive enough and say, okay, if you're not going to listen to me, let's try, and call the police. And they're amazing. They'll send a guy over in no time not to arrest you, but just to give you some information that they have. And they're just amazing. And the police reports are really nice because of the alert they just sent out last week for the one that we've been seeing. So if they do get information or they do break the case or something, they can come back to you and ask you additional questions. Or even if they catch somebody, they can come back and, maybe you can get some of your money back. Make a report to the Federal Trade Commission, identitytheft.gov. This also is a bigger scope of how they can keep an eye on what is going on, what scams we're seeing. Freeze your credit with all 3 credit bureaus. So I think everybody should freeze your credit. You can unfreeze it very quickly online. If you go to all 3 credit bureaus, you're going, you have to do it with all three of them. Some of them ask you for a PIN number and a login, but you will be able to unfreeze it. My husband is a farmer. He does a line of credit every year. I unfreeze it for 24 hours. We pull the credit and then it freezes all over again. So there's as easy as freezing it, you can unfreeze it as well. Freezing your credit just means that nobody else can open a credit card, an account, a loan, anything like that under your social security number. So it's a great, I mean, think about the last time you bought a home, a car, opened a credit card. You don't do it all that often. You can always unfreeze it. Also know you get a free credit report from annualcreditreport.com. Through COVID, I think you could get these monthly. I was gonna look and see if that's still up there with the amount of fraud. I would think it is, that you could get them a lot more readily. But you can, in the old days, you could get one from each credit report, from every credit bureau, once a year. So we would tell people, you know, like go in once a quarter or once every 4 months or something and pull one of your credit reports and just make sure that, you know, it's right. Is there anything on there you don't know? Has anybody opened anything, you know, that you don't know about? And the last one is really huge, and I know a lot of people have said, I can't tell anybody what I just did. I can't tell a friend that I just got scammed. They're gonna think I'm, you know, I'm not a smart person. But that's the way to prohibit it from happening to somebody else. So for me to be here today and say, these are the scams that are going on, these are the things we're seeing, and you know, your online banking, telling a friend, not answering the phone, using your online banking are huge deterrents. Hopefully, if it saves one of you from getting scammed or fraud, that would be a huge success. But telling a friend of your experience and what made you think to do that is huge. I mean, I had a lady who came and got money, and she's just like, if somebody would have told me, it would have validated what I, you know, what I was feeling. And because she just knew it was not right, but if somebody told her that they had that happen to them too, she wouldn't have done it. So that's what I got. Questions? Yes.
Yes, so going back to the Bitcoin machine scam, I gotta think that there's legitimate reasons why the machines are out there, otherwise they wouldn't be there. So evidently there's people, organizations that are setting up scams on the machine and apparently taking people's money without any repercussion. So my question for you is, well, why would the financial industry would allow that? And two, the question for you then is the banking industry doing anything to promote regulation to go after these people and get them off those machines? Because it's got to be hurting the banking industry.
Right, fraud is never a good thing, so there's a lot of questions there. So the reason for those ATMs, now that I've looked into it, is a lot of people do Bitcoin. And I'm not here to say yay or nay on Bitcoin, but if you want to buy Bitcoin, that's what they're for. You can deposit money into them and they'll give you Bitcoin back. The hard part about it is that a lot of these people who are doing this aren't here in the United States. You know, so to catch them or to do, find them, to prosecute them is really hard. So, yes, and it is hurting the banking industry tremendously. Regulators and, you know, the banking industry can only do so much because, like, the CFPB is out there and they are telling us, you know, you can't charge overdraft fees, you can't, you know, do certain things. So the banking industry, as much as they try, it's kind of hard. Highly regulated, highly regulated. Yes.
If you get emails that you don't know anything about, or you have any question about, a very easy technique to check on that is to hover over the email and right click. You'll drop down a menu. So long, and one of the options is view raw message. When you do that, you're gonna get a bunch of numbers and a whole bunch of things that mean nothing to you, except the second line down will always be the return address of this email. And you can look at all the garbage and junk before it. The key is after the go-to sign, what website is that going to? If it says it's supposed to go to Chase and it's going to Charlie's Garage, that is not a good sign, okay? And you immediately just go back before you've opened it, delete it, and go on from there. But it's an easy way to check.
That's a great, and just don't click. And I would do that before you start clicking, because once you start clicking, yeah, before you start clicking on any attachments, then you're in trouble. Yes.
Yes, I recently got an email from Experian saying that my social security number had been found on the dark web. So that very much alarms me. Other than freezing my credit, is there, do I go to Huntley Police? Do I, what else can I do if truly my social security number is on the dark web?
Yeah, and I always say, it's not when if you're gonna get scammed, it's when you're gonna get, like when your identity is gonna be there. I would think a lot of our information is on that dark web. There are some websites you can go to, that can alert you of those kinds of things. I do the Experian too, because I have my credit frozen, and they send you some of those alerts and stuff when your passwords have been, somebody's gotten your passwords, go back in and change some of your passwords and stuff like that. But there are websites out there. I don't know of any to endorse, but look into it. Maybe the Computer Club does have some that will send you more alerts and keep your information secure. But freezing your credit is going to prohibit it from going any farther. Yes.
How secure is putting your credit card or your bank on your phone?
So it is secure. We have the same kind of firewalls on those devices. Again, it's as secure as you keep your phone is too. I know my phone, I have a lot of, being a manager, I have a lot of our bank information on my phone. So I have to go through 2 passwords every time I log into my phone for anything. So doing that, doing Face ID, is just keeping it more secure, and keeping your phone near you, is, but no phone, no banking, online banking has been hacked, no phone access has been hacked. The only time that anybody has gotten into somebody's account is when they let them in. So it's only as secure as you keep it.
Okay, I think you just answered my question, but I have a comment. My question was, is it okay to save your passwords on your computer, your phone, and your iPad in the bank?
So there are, again, some websites to keep them secure, like a safe for your passwords. So there's apps out there or websites out there that you can, it's like a safe for passwords. And that's really safe.
I mean, like my password at my bank is really, really long.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to type it in every time. It's okay to save it.
As long as you're keeping your computer safe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was recently hacked on my email, and I have Comcast, and it was one of those things where people got an email from me wanting to know if they use Amazon.com, and then if you say yes, they want $200, and then if you do that, they want more. So I found out that they have it happened an hour before I was leaving on a river cruise in the Rhine. And so when I come home, I have 2 letters from Comcast. One said, you changed your password, which I did before I left. And you changed your email. Somebody had added an E to my email address. So if you ever get those, check the email. And, you know, it didn't sound like me, but still, people asked.
I think companies have, you know, become very smart in that. I mean, whenever I change a password, and at the bank, we change our passwords every 30 days. Just imagine when you have to change your daily passwords that you use every day, every 30 days. Then I go through and I change all my personal ones as well. And they send you emails. And don't get complacent with those to where when you don't change your password and you get one of those, that's when you should worry. Yes.
I've gotten a couple of emails say, please update your email address. Well, they've already sent me an email. Why am I sending them a new, my email?
Yeah. Every company is different. I'm not sure about that one, but yeah. And you had a question up here?
We ran into a scam not a while back where we sold equipment for $40,000 and we got a check for $80,000. And the person we sold $40,000 equipment and he sent us a check for $80,000 and then begged us to send back the $40,000. The first check wasn't any good.
That's a huge one as well. And a lot of times it's not for that amount of money, but they, said, hey, I gave you extra money, send me this money back. That's never a good sign either, if they're asking for money back. So we get a lot of that on a daily basis. So if they're asking you to send money back, just tell them, hey, you gotta wait 7, 8, 10 days till that check clears, and most likely it won't. Because if you do that and you give them the money, the bank does not cover things like that.
Yeah, I would like to make one comment that I have everybody in my building, I live in attached property, and they all know me, and they all know that I've been involved in a computer club. So what I'm going to tell you is one of my neighbors who was a perfect neighbor, no problems, no medical, anything that you would think this would happen to her. She got hit for $3,000. So what that says to me is everyone here who says it can't happen to them has a chance that it could happen to you. Mainly, if you get a person on the phone that is very dedicated to getting almost all the money that he can talk you out of, he gets. That person will know all kinds of ways to get to you. So don't think it can't happen to you. The other thing I was going to say about was if you get a message on your computer that says, this is a Microsoft or somebody else, and you got to call this number to get help. The best way is press the power button down on your computer immediately for 15 seconds. Then lift your finger off the button, wait about 30 seconds and tap it again. Computer should come back on and tell you you improperly shut down the computer and you want to go back to where you were. Never go back to say no to that question. It's usually a yellow bar at the top of your email or on your web browser. That'll say, do you want to go back to where you were? Never go back to that. And that is the end of that. You don't want to hit the red X in the corner because that could be reprogrammed to do some bad things.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much, Judith. Very thorough and very insightful as to how we conduct our business. And we